Day 2 on the Alaska Highway. Got some light snow coming through. A lot of little pebbles on the road, so I'm trying not to go too fast to mess up my car. So far on this part of the highway, I think maybe 1 or 2 cars have passed me this whole time, heading into the Watson Lake area. Looks like we're heading down a steep hill. So far my winter tires have been holding up good on this. If you ever make the long trek, definitely winter tires, which I think is the law anyway, for what that's worth. Now we actually got some real snow conditions, which is a little crazy, but let's see what happens. Under normal conditions, I would probably fly down this road, but do not want to screw myself over. It's starting to get some massive mountains in the view. I think these are the Canadian Rocky Mountains, if I'm correct. Yeah, the road here is not too bad so far either. It's a little bumpy. Car just flew in front of me and got a bunch of snow fog, whatever the hell you want to call it. Out of nowhere, it just stopped snowing, and it's as if everything is clear out of the blue. I guess you never know what weather awaits you in the Rockies. Now some sun is beaming through here in the Rockies. Heading over here into Stone Mountain. Got a frozen lake over here on the side. I think it is Summit Lake from the signs anyway. Some Rocky Mountain terrain. They gave some sheep warning signs, but there are no sheep. I wouldn't mind seeing sheep if y'all want to come out over here. Now heading into Muncho Lake area. Massive incline of mountains right out here, and a nice lake to go with it. We got the big Muncho Lake on the side. It's a damn big lake if I've ever seen one. Passing through a supposed avalanche area. Well, that's always interesting. First animal spotted on this road. Bison. Nice river here off the side of the road. I think it might be Lillard River, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it right. You could go in the hot springs here, but I am too goddamn cold. One of the crazy things driving out here is you're sometimes driving hundreds of miles without any cell phone service or anything. But you'll sometimes get 100 or a little more stretch without any gas stations. But Toad Lodge gave me this to see where the gas stations are on the routes. A pro tip, download all your music and podcasts and whatever you want for the road to keep you entertained or whatever. First little town in a few hundred miles think this is now the Yukon headed towards Watson Lake. Over here near my hotel is the world famous signpost forest. For night 2 on the Alaska Highway here in Watson Lake, they gave me a free cabin upgrade since it was, I guess, quiet around here. And this is where I'll be spending the night. Not bad. At a place called A Nicer Motel. Day 3 on the Alaska Highway, more snowy today, heading towards Whitehorse. When I went to get breakfast before, there was someone at the diner restaurant who said his car flipped over and he's trying to get a ride out there, but he couldn't secure a rental car, so I didn't end up going with me. I was a bit worried he might be a serial killer, but his story sounded legit. But ultimately, I guess he's waiting until he could get a rental car before he starts moving around more. Yeah, for anyone that's worried about winter driving, it's, at least so far, it's not so bad. I think as long as you're mindful of updating weather conditions, like if there was a lot of inches of snow coming through, I'd probably just hunker down for a day or whatever is needed. But as of now, with snow tires, driving in this isn't too bad. Just got to be ready to sometimes go over maybe hundreds of miles without cell phone service, and just try to be prepared for anything you might need in case you need something. Sometimes when you're driving this, you just get closer and closer to these massive mountains, just kind of mind-blowing sometimes. Got some, what I assume is military helicopters, black helicopters. Now in Whitehorse, there's a lot of there's a couple of museums and a lot of stores and lodging and everything else. I'm walking through the Yukon Wildlife Preserve, and here's where they got some big old bison. For tonight's mission in Haines Junction, Airbnb for the night. A short drive just as I kill time on my way to Fairbanks, Alaska. We're at my Airbnb for the night, and I noticed the backyard is kind of a nice view of the mountains over there. Today I'm driving out of Haines Junction, making my way down to Tok, which I believe will go through the border into the US part of the Alaska Highway, and I guess into Alaska. We're here at a gas station in Haines Junction, filling up for the long road to Tok. Prices here always confuse me as it goes by liter instead of gallon. I stopped by another gas station over here to get some hot water for some vanilla chai tea I had on me. Need some caffeine and tea for the road. Now we're somewhere around 860 miles from Fairbanks. A little more, a little less, but making our way down. Today we got lots of snow on the roadway. I'm just gonna try not to fly too much and hope that does the trick. Tons of highway and barely a person on it. I bet it's different during the summer, but in March of 2025 it's just about empty. Getting closer and you can see kind of like massive mountains all around. Probably the roughest area of the trip so far here at, I think it's Beaver Creek, near the border, I think, for the into the US part of the highway. But yeah, imagine back in the early days of the Alaska Highway, it would probably be like this on a lot of it. And I'm kind of like keeping it not too fast to do my best to avoid any potholes or anything that could mess things up. As you get closer to the US border, it just gets dicier and dicier. Maybe because there's nowhere near here that trucks could come in and just repair it, especially in the winter. And with all the border BS going on, maybe it makes it trickier. So yeah, here at the Beaver Lodge area, I'm pretty sure the gas is closed for the winter, so you definitely want to fill up before you kind of head towards this border area, especially during the winter. Yeah, you see a sign for Beaver Creek. And another closed gas station over there. I guess during the summer, well, during the winter, there's just not much going on here. To my surprise, there is one gas station here. Yeah, it says last branded fuel for 170 kilometers, so good to keep in mind in case you need gas. And now starting to arrive at the border into the US side of Alaska Highway into Alaska. Now heading into officially Alaska. Arrived at the next stay for the night. It's a cabin. Seems kind of cool. If you've ever watched the movie Midsommar, this almost reminds me of that, but I don't see any weird cults here, so that's a good thing. Heading out of the last Airbnb today to head out to Fairbanks, and then that concludes the Alaska Highway journey. just some scenes from the antique car museum here in Fairbanks. Thought it was pretty cool. Definitely recommend checking it out. Some interesting vintage cars and Alaska history with them. Oh yeah.
It looks kind of cool. What's up?
The problem is in pictures.
You want mummies?
So tomorrow I go to my employee housing, so I think this gives a good conclusion for the Alcan Alaska Highway adventure. If you have any tips, comments, questions, thoughts on the topic, definitely share them down below, and thanks for watching. Catch you later. Some bonus footage of I'm just driving to a Northern Lights viewing area and they're literally just in the sky.